You ever wonder why the people who seem the strongest, the thinkers, the planners, the ones who always have the answers, are the first to collapse in silence? You see them at work, at home, at family gatherings, always composed, always reliable. But behind the calm surface, their minds never rest. They're drowning in thoughts, responsibilities, and invisible expectations, until one day they simply shut down. This isn't weakness, it's the hidden cost of intelligence. And if you've ever felt that quiet exhaustion, this video is for you.
Smart minds notice everything. At work, you see the inefficiencies your boss ignores, and it eats at you. In relationships, you catch every subtle shift in tone, every pause that means more than words. With friends, you feel when energy changes in the room, long before anyone admits there's tension. That awareness, once a gift, becomes a burden. Your brain keeps analyzing, predicting, correcting, and it won't stop. At 2 a.m., you replay conversations, trying to fix things that already happened. You tell yourself, if I understand it, I can control it. But understanding everything means carrying everything. A friend once told me, "You think too much." And I answered, "That's the problem. I don't know how not to." The solution isn't to stop thinking, it's to direct it. Choose what deserves your analysis. Write down intrusive thoughts and schedule them for tomorrow. Tell your brain, we'll solve this later. Awareness without focus is chaos. But when you learn to decide what matters now, thinking becomes clarity, not noise. Still, intelligence without boundaries turns into responsibility. And that's the next trap. You've become the dependable one. At work, can you take this on? You always get it right. At home, you always know what to do. Among friends, you're the logical one, help us decide. Responsibility feels like love until it starts to feel like debt. You start managing other people's emotions, covering for their mistakes, cleaning the mess quietly because it's easier if I do it. But each favor chips away at you. You stop asking what you need because everyone else already decided what you're for. Your partner says, "I just need you to hold it together for both of us." Your boss smiles, "I trust you completely," right before dumping another project on your desk. Your family says, "We couldn't do it without you," and somehow that sounds like a sentence, not a compliment. Responsibility overload isn't pride, it's slow self-erasure. You start existing through others' expectations until you forget who you were when you didn't owe anyone anything. Here's the truth, boundaries aren't rejection, they're survival. At work, say, "I can do that tomorrow, not today." In relationships, say, "I love you, but I can't fix this for you." With family, say, "I'm not available right now." It will feel selfish at first, but burnout feeds on guilt. And guilt only stops when you stop apologizing for resting. And when the weight gets too heavy, many smart people retreat into silence. That's when the real danger begins.
Number 3, the isolation effect. Isolation doesn't always mean being alone, it's the feeling of being unseen. Smart people often isolate because connection feels like noise. At work, small talk feels empty. In relationships, they crave depth but get frustration. With family, their thoughts are met with, "You think too much." So they withdraw. Not because they don't care, but because they're tired of explaining themselves. They start choosing solitude over misunderstanding. You sit in your car after work, engine off, scrolling mindlessly because you can't face another conversation that drains you. You tell friends, "I'm just busy." But the truth is, you're lonely in a way no company can fix. Isolation begins as protection and ends as starvation. The fix? Find safe spaces, not just people. A coffee shop where you can exist without pretending. One person you can talk to without editing your thoughts. Your brain needs connection as much as oxygen. But only with those who see the real you. Like and share with someone who needs to hear this. Because when isolation turns to numbness, empathy becomes the next thing that burns. Number 4, the empathy drain. You walk into a room and feel it instantly. Tension, sadness, exhaustion. none of it yours. At work, someone's frustration sticks to you for hours. In your relationship, you absorb your partner's anxiety until you can't tell whose feelings are whose. You're not weak. You're wired to feel deeply. But empathy without limits becomes emotional theft, and you're the one being robbed. A colleague sighs and you ask, "Are you okay?" Even when you're not. A friend calls and you answer, though your own energy is gone. Empathy is beautiful, until it becomes compulsion. Here's the shift. Learn to listen without rescuing. When a friend unloads, pause before fixing. Say, "I hear you," instead of, "Here's what you should do." Protect your mind by creating an internal door, one that opens intentionally, not automatically. Because when you stop carrying everyone else's pain, you'll finally have space for your own healing. And if empathy drains your energy, achievement will drain your soul next. Number 5, the achievement addiction. Smart people often confuse worth with productivity. You think, if I stop, I'll fall behind. At work, you stay late because resting feels like failure. In relationships, you measure love by effort. If I try harder, they'll see my value. With friends, you turn casual plans into goals. It's not ambition, it's fear disguised as drive. Your brain craves dopamine from accomplishment, but the dosage keeps increasing. You cross one finish line and immediately build the next. The solution? Redefine success. Ask, who am I when I'm not achieving? Start practicing useless rest, walks with no purpose, moments with no outcome. When you give yourself permission to exist without earning it, your mind learns peace. Remember, life doesn't measure you by output. That's capitalism, not consciousness. But the hardest thing to surrender isn't effort, it's control.
Number 6, the false control illusion. You plan everything because chaos once hurt you. Structure feels safe. It's how you keep the world predictable. You plan your day, your words, your emotions. You try to predict outcomes before they happen. At work, you prepare for every question before the meeting even starts. In relationships, you replay arguments in your head before they exist. With family, you organize holidays until everyone's miserable except you. Control feels like order, but it's really anxiety wearing a mask. When life doesn't follow the script, your body panics. But here's the paradox. The more you try to control, the less you trust life and the less alive you feel. Start small, leave something unplanned. Let someone else decide. Allow silence without rushing to fill it. The world won't fall apart when you stop managing it. It might actually open up. Freedom begins where control ends. And that's when smart finally becomes wise.
Let's recap. You burn out because you see too much, carry too much, and feel too much. But awareness can become wisdom when it's guided by rest, boundaries, and trust. You don't need to stop being smart. You just need to stop fighting the world alone. Knowledge is your freedom. Awareness is your shield. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for daily psychology insights. See you in the next one.